The Cleveland Cavaliers are impossible to fix. I have been trying for hours to figure out what I would do. What are the couple moves that I would make for them to truly be championship favorites? Maybe not favorites, but favorites in the East next season. And I can't do it. I can't do it. I think this team is screwed. I think they have the talent technically. I'm going to go ahead and say this. Donovan Mitchell does not fit with James Harden. I think this should be a very obvious thing. I mean, Donovan Mitchell didn't really fit with Darius Garland, and they just decided to replace one guy with another guy who's older and actually worse, especially in the playoffs, because you cannot trust James Harden in the playoffs, as we just saw. Because even though they made it this far, the Cleveland Cavaliers went 7 games in both those series because James Harden, 7 of the 18 playoff games that he played, he had more turnovers than field goals made. That is beyond ridiculous. And Donovan Mitchell, let's be honest about him. He needs as much as he can get. He is a really, really, really good player, but he's not a top 5. He's not a top 7, top 8 player. He's not a superstar. And when you have someone like James Harden who's taking away from Mitchell's game, it's hard for them to win together. I mean, let's think of Donovan Mitchell's strengths. He is an amazing scorer. He can play make at least a little bit, but he's not this amazing defender. He's not a good rebounder. He's not that good of a playmaker. He's not that good playing off ball. Like, he can do it all right, but that's not maximizing his strengths. So if you want him to play like a superstar, you have to let him play like a superstar and let the other guys on the team do the little things. Something that James Harden also can't do. I mean, have we ever seen a championship team in the NBA of two smaller guards who were both below average defensively? We've just never seen it. So if there was a way, because let's look at the contract situation for the Cavs. 50 million is going to Mitchell. 50 million is going to Mobley. 40 million is going to go to Harden. If not, maybe he'll sign a new contract of like 70 million over 2 years. So 35 million, whatever. Jarrett Allen's getting 30 million. And we'll talk about him and Mobley in a second. I mean, their sixth man, Dennis Schroeder's getting 17 million. Max Strus, 17 million. Sam Merrill, 10 million. And he couldn't make a shot in those conference finals. What an embarrassing sweep. If they decided that, hey, James Harden does not fit with Mitchell, we just won't re-sign him, who are they going to replace Harden with? They have no assets. They're already in the second apron. They have no assets to get a guy who would thrive next to Mitchell. I'm looking at their future first-round picks right now, and they have the 29th pick this year, no first-round pick next year, the worst of Cleveland, Atlanta, and Utah the year after, no first-round pick the year after that, and then they have a bunch of first-round picks from 2030 on. This team, I don't know what to do, because Donovan Mitchell, you need a guy. I mean, this is just any championship team. You need really good players that fit well with your stars. The Cavs don't have that. And then you talk about Mobley and Jarrett Allen. Mobley, when he is on the court, is not very good in the playoffs, but it's not his fault because he's playing next to a guy who they don't play similarly, Jarrett Allen and Mobley, but like, it's a little redundant. Jarrett Allen's getting 30 million, which you think is a good contract, but because Mobley's already kind of the big man in there, he's not doing very much. He's not doing much to attribute to that $30 million. I mean, it kind of works with Chet and Hartenstein, but the reason Chet and Hartenstein work well together in OKC is because you don't have to depend on Hartenstein. Even though he's getting all that money, you have so many good backup players on the bench who can fit in well with Chet. And the Cavs don't have that. When it's just Mobley out there, it doesn't look good. So the only logical solution, because you can't build through free agency, the only thing you could do is bet low on a player and just hope that he's some starter. Like Jalen Tyson. Jalen Tyson was supposed to be really good for the Cavs. And when they traded at the deadline for a bunch of players like a Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, they just lowered his role until eventually in the playoffs, he did not have any confidence from three or just in general. Turnovers, fouling on defense, everything. So essentially, the only logical solution would be, one, if LeBron James came on a minimum, which it actually was just reported about an hour ago that LeBron will not be willing to do that, even though he wants to return to Cleveland, or you trade for Giannis. But I still feel like it's the same problems. I still feel like Giannis and Jarrett Allen would be kind of redundant with each other, especially because Jarrett Allen doesn't space the floor. And you'd still have this James Harden, Donovan Mitchell backcourt with no point of attack defender. You still wouldn't be able to have a really good small forward. I mean, Max Strus is cool, but I feel like you need one to be able to guard the ball because neither Harden or Mitchell could do that. And then let's say you want to fix both problems. Let's say you don't want Mobley and Allen together and you don't want Harden and Mitchell together. You can still get rid of Harden even with Giannis, but then it's just Mitchell. It's just Giannis and Jarrett Allen. Maybe you trade Jarrett Allen for someone worse. This team is screwed. It really sucks because they did have a 3-year draft rebuild. And they missed on half their picks. You talk about 2018 is when the rebuild started. Colin Sexton with pick 8. They passed on Mikal Bridges. They passed on Shea. They passed on Michael Porter Jr. A lot of good players. Next draft, they got Darius Garland, which was a great pick, but then you trade him for an aging James Harden. So the actual value of that pick has gone way down. And then the next draft, they got pick 5 and drafted Isaac Okoro. Just a terrible pick. Passed on Halliburton. Passed on, I'm sure there's a couple good names I'm blanking on. Okongwu even. And then in the next draft, you get Mobley. You get pick 3, you get Mobley. And Mobley might have been too good to start his career because that's when the Cavs started winning. I think they might have also gotten Mitchell in that year. I'm not really too sure. But Mobley might have been too good. So in your 4 draft rebuild, you missed on half the years. You should have rebuilded even longer to try and get even more good picks. Normally, if a team's going to do that, they're not going to miss on their picks. Like OKC. OKC only tanked for like 3 years, but they hit every single time. Even a Josh Giddey turned into an Alex Caruso. And they already had a Shea. So their 3-year rebuild already having Shea, the Cavs should have rebuilt for 5 years, 6 years, unless you got as lucky as the Spurs. So I actually think they're just doomed. I do think Mitchell and Giannis, there is a chance they're the best team in the East. Do you want to go all in, though? I'm really not too sure. I mean, the Knicks aren't going to go anywhere next year. I guess all the other East teams aren't that scary, like a Pistons, the Hawks. Boston might be scary with, a whole year of Jason Tatum. But then, like, everyone else on the Celtics isn't really that good. I think they're good for the regular season. But in terms of, like, an 8-man rotation in the playoffs, we just saw them lose to a very flawed 76ers roster. And the 76ers are going to have another year of probably injuries with Joel Embiid, another year of aging and getting worse in Paul George. Like, I guess the East is kind of wide open. It would just suck to go all in next year and not win it all because I still think the roster isn't that good, even if you're able to pair up Donovan Mitchell with Giannis. So if it's not Giannis, it's not LeBron, they might need to enter a rebuild. That's a scary thought to have because they had a good 4 years of constantly making the playoffs, being a good regular season team. It just sucks that sometimes it was the injuries. Sometimes Jarrett Allen was hurt or sometimes Darius Garland was hurt, but it might just have to end. In my opinion, dude, this is one of the hardest spots to be in as a GM because they still have a good team. They just made the conference finals, but they also went 7 in both series. One against the Raptors team, which has never had playoff success ever. And then in another series, they went 7 with the team who, they were the 1 seed. Very flawed team. Jalen Duren, not that good. The rest of the Pistons, just a lot of specialists. They really are built for the regular season, in my opinion. I mean, there's a reason the Pistons went 7 games with an 8 seed. So, yeah, I would not want to be the GM of the Cavs right now. What I would do is I'd probably blow it up. I mean, unless the owner cares that much about revenue of winning in the regular season and having those high ticket prices. But what's best basketball wise for this team is blowing it up, unfortunately. It really sucks. It was a good season for them. I just don't know why. If they were going to trade Darius Garland, they should have traded him for someone not named James Harden. They should have traded for a wing, traded for anyone. I don't know. Darius Garland, or just don't sell low on Darius Garland. That's crazy to me. He was already having a pretty bad year, injury-prone year. I don't know. I'm just kind of rambling. But those are my thoughts. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I'll be responding to every single one. And if you like the video, and peace out.